But last night, the NBA All-Star Game took place. It was fun. Jay Crawford, I can't believe I'm saying this. The All-Star Game was fun last night.
Wow.
This new format, which I could barely explain to people coherently.
That was my problem.
Why is it hard to explain? It's very easy.
It's very
If
straightforward.
you can't explain an All-Star Game format in one sentence,
Yes.
it's too confusing.
By the
However,
way, the only thing I'm confused by, why was Karl Anthony Towns on the world team? He was born in New Jersey.
he plays for He plays for Team Puerto Rico in the Olympics and such.
Oh,
So
he's
he
of
was-
Puerto Rican descent, so
yes.
they made that excuse.
or Dominican, but he doesn't play for Team USA.
I think it's Dominican.
Plus, there's some really good international players, but the depth, that's why we've got 3 teams.
They needed a world.
And Puerto
exactly.
Rico's part of America, Mike. I know some people are confused
It's
by
Dominican
that.
Republic. I believe.
Not-
Whatever
yeah.
it is, he doesn't
The
play for Team
territory.
USA. No, Puerto
No.
Rico's in the Olympics as its own.
Yeah, they are.
They do, but it's still
Yeah.
part
Well,
of
I'm
America.
just saying he does not play for Team USA.
Right,
He
right.
plays on a
Gotcha.
different international team. Bull,
Yes.
I talked to you when we had our phone call yesterday
Yeah.
about the All-Star Game. I said, if it's interesting, I'll text y'all.
Yeah.
The first game was interesting. You said you tuned in.
Yeah.
Did this new format save the NBA's All-Star Game?
It was a winner. 100%. They did a good job. People were ripping it before without even giving it. I didn't understand. We were talking about the All-Star Game sucks, which it has, before, and making changes where they hadn't given it a shot. And I believe I said months ago that if they did this, it would work because the foreign players would play hard, and that would force the American players to play hard.
And you had some of them during the game said that.
And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And I know the final game was a blowout, unfortunately. The old guys obviously ran out of gas a little bit, which I mean, it only totaled one full game because they played 4 quarters. But the first 3 games were all great. They were all
I liked
close.
all of them. I liked all of them.
Mike wants to go.
Yeah, can I chime in one
Absolutely.
second on this? The international versus USA thing mattered, but I think you could have scrapped that. I think this format works better because in previous All-Star games, the best part was the last 6-7 minutes when the game was close.
Yes.
Right.
Part of the issue is the first 40 minutes of the last few All-Star games were so unserious that even when you got to the final 6 minutes, one team was up 35, 40 points, and
Right.
there was no need to put in the effort. When they split it into these individual 12-game segments, no team, and we saw in the last game it got a little blow, but for the most part, it's hard to blow out a team that's that talented in a 12-minute stretch. So, yeah, the first couple minutes you saw Luka and Jokic on the international team say, hey, here's my 2 minutes, and they're out.
Yeah.
Everyone else played hard enough, and you could play hard enough in 6-7 minute stretches that it made it entertaining. I don't think it was necessarily the World versus USA format that worked. I think it was these smaller, individual, shorter segments, and the fact that some
I
of the
think it's the
international
both.
guys
I think it's both.
did
I think
play
it's
hard.
both too. We got to see
Yeah.
a moment. You know, the end of the second game, maybe where Fox 3-pointer.
The second game, yes.
To
That was
me-
USA versus USA.
Yes, to me that was awesome because
There's a game winner in the first one, too.
yes.
Yeah, it went to overtime.
So those games were close, but here's my problem with it. It's the All-Star game, and we had 4 mini games, and there's this round robin,
Yeah.
and then there's this and that, and
But in football, they didn't play a game.
which is thankfully.
Yeah.
You know what I say? Please cancel that abomination that
Yeah.
is the flag game too.
Yeah.
We don't need a game in football. If we want to have a game in basketball, and I think we do, and I think there is something there, eventually what they have to go to, and they will, it might take 5 years before they have a deep enough international team to make it truly worthwhile. And they also have to make the bounty big enough for them to care. And that's the real problem, Mike. Every one of those players are making $30 million a year. What are you going to offer them that's going to make them say, I'm going to go hard for 48 minutes? Like, what are you going to, other than pride?
Yeah.
And so what I hope we get to is what we have in hockey. I want to see an international team playing their hardest against an American team, playing their hardest for 48 minutes, one game, 2 teams,
Yeah.
not a round robin. You're eliminated. You're in. You go on. One game, All-Star game. And I think when we get to that point, I don't give a rat's ass about bobsled. I don't care. But when I turn on the television and they say, well, this USA team, the last 3 world championships, has lost to Denmark. And now it's the Denmark sled against the U.S. sled. So all of a sudden, I'm all in.
Winner gets Greenland.
Winner gets Greenland, which was funny at the hockey game when Denmark was up 2-0. Someone was waving a Greenland flag, and that didn't work out so well for them. Team USA came storming back. But I don't care about figure skating.
Yeah.
I don't care about curling. But if I'm randomly flipping and it comes on and it says USA versus, I'm like, oh, this is something we can all get our minds around.
I can't sit through the figure skating, but the rest of it, I agree.
I can't either. I gassed.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, I can't either.
But the rest of it, yes,
But,
I agree.
I mean,
but I do. I know it's. I get what you're saying, and yeah, I guess in a perfect world.
How far away are we from getting there, Mike? 5 years?
I like this.
There's more and more international talent coming in every
the
year.
All-Star games.
I like this.
I don't know. It's Olympic Games.
Yeah.
All they have to do is if they tweak a couple of things with this, to me right now it's nice. The reason it's good is because I'm just going to be honest with you. People come from the world, like the world teams. These dudes is coming from.
War-torn countries.
War-torn. Like they go back to their crib. They go back to Europe, and it's like they still got wars going on.
Not
But
all of them.
Not really.
But
in the old days,
saying it just right.
Yeah.
But I drill down and shout out to there's two people who made this format possible, and that's Wemby, because this dude was literally upset that they were up by 2 and they had a rotation miscue and gave up a 3.
Yes.
Was completely salty.
Like it was a playoff game.
Yeah. Love it.
Also, love the fact all you got to do is change the names. It's Team USA old heads versus the Team USA young boys or young guns. And
Can't say boys.
Yeah, well, NBA young boy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
See, it's a thing. So, and then you got Anthony Edwards, who is one of them competitive type dudes that was leading the young guys. And then you got Duran, who was talking about, man, these old dudes, right, really thinking like they carried the league and all this stuff. And they came out here with Cade Cunningham and Chet Holmgren, and they was ready to play because they was going at these old dudes like LeBron and Kevin Durant. So you get, you're part of Team USA, but the thing that really worked is the world players are automatically going to play hard against the American players because they feel like they got something to prove.
Right.
The young dudes is always going to play hard against the old heads because they feel like they don't get the same just desserts as LeBron and Steph.
Yep.
And then the old dudes is going to play hard.
They don't get embarrassed.
They don't get embarrassed. Yeah. And they should be on the internet today saying, look, y'all need to get yourself together in this offseason. Your conditioning is bad. LeBron.
You're right. We need some trash talk.
And if
there was a little bit of that going on yesterday, which was nice to see.
It was beautiful. And so Wemby obviously gets livid after the first game where they give up a 3 to Scotty Barnes, they lose. And Edwards was on the mic afterwards, and he said he called Wemby an 8-foot alien, which was hysterical.
It was very funny.
It was very funny. And then he's like,
on the jump ball,
play that hard, we have to. And they asked Donovan Mitchell about it, and Donovan said, we were in the back, warming up while that first game was going on, so we didn't get a chance to watch it. But we passed the international team coming out of they were going into the locker rooms, we were coming out.
They saw their intensity.
And we saw how pissed off they were.
Yeah.
Said, okay, we got to strap them up. And to your young heads versus old heads, whatever you want to call it, it was unintentionally set like that with the rosters yesterday. They kind of did it on purpose.
But
wait, that wasn't intentional?
Because it wasn't exactly even.
But it felt very intentional to me.
I think moving forward,
this should be that.
Why don't we do this?
Because
30-plus All-Stars versus 29 down All-Stars.
The numbers may not equal out, but how about you take the
find a year, 28. Maybe
what I'm saying, find the youngest American All-Stars and the oldest in terms of service time. Not even age, just service time. And you draw the line in the middle, and if you're above the median,
you go to the old heads
team, and if you're under, you're on the young.
And we'll find out, is it legs or is it experience?
It would add another level of intensity because the young guns are proven, hey, it's our league now.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
The old heads wouldn't want to.
Well, even LeBron in the interview afterwards, he said old heads are 1-0.
Exactly.
Like they care.
But not in the finals. They got their ass kicked.
No, they got smoked.
But it's the first time we're talking about the NBA All-Star Game in a positive fashion in a long time.
Yeah.
The Saturday is still. I didn't watch it.
I haven't watched it in 10 years.
McNuggets. Let me just tell you something. First of all, this is the most gross, nasty thing I've ever heard. Allegedly, when I was watching the dunk contest and I was watching people do Southeast Community Center, J. Babe Stern, American Legion dunks, these are American Legion dunks, bro. This is the Shriner Circus dunks where you come in. This is Make-A-Wish Foundation dunks, bro. This is charity. These are regular dunks.
Yeah, I don't know.
Guys are just going up doing. I seen what was the kid for the Lakers doing?
It was an embarrassment.
But to that point, like, I think in human history, you reach a point where you've seen, there's never before done. And they were watching snowboarding, and they go, the great thing about this sport is every year the bar keeps going up and up and up. Somebody did 5 twists. I think it's a 1240 or something. There's only so many ways you can dunk a basketball.
So I was watching, and Matt McClung, right? He did 4 dunks that he was gonna do at the dunk contest, and I said, "Well, you're the 3-time champion. Why aren't you there? You won." And then it comes out that none of the NBA players said that they would do it if he was still in it because it was unfair.
Are you kidding me?
Once the stars,
They said if he's in it, we don't have a chance to win.
Wait, is that true or was a rumor?
Is that true, Mike?
It was a rumor that some other
Shame
guys
on them
backed
if that was
out
the
of
case.
Mac. But also,
That's ridiculous.
Mac said he did not want to do it, though.
I know he didn't want to do it.
But
Mac said he did because, and like I said, I've known Mac since he was 14, 15. I met him as a sophomore in high school.
Yeah.
Still a freak, and he would have won if he was in it.
But he's gone through stages. He wants to be an NBA player. He does not want to be known as.
But Mike, nobody wants to see.
He was a freak show before.
We want to see superstars in the dunk contest. Otherwise, nobody's going to watch.
The 4 dunks that he did would have won the contest immediately.
Easy.
The 4 dunks he did on YouTube.
I saw the final dunk. I didn't watch it at all, but I saw in the highlights the final dunk by the guy who won.
You know what's tricky about this, guys?
And it was lame.
We're kind of proving it right here.
Yeah.
You'll know this. The best dunkers in the world
are not NBA
players.
Right.
So.
Right, yeah.
There's on that circuit, in that world,
the professional dunk circuit.
Those guys make NBA players look like they're dunking with the other hand.
There's a professional dunk circuit?
Yes.
There is.
Yeah.
Yes.
And these guys are freak shows.
All they do is dunk?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They
people
don't
pay to watch
just
this?
Dunkers.
That's it.
Yes.
That's
I've always
it. They're
said-
YouTube sensations. People can't get enough of it. So,
What they should do,
So
Jay,
bring
is-
those guys in.
yes, yes.
and have them team up with an
And you know
NBA
what? Have
all-star.
current NBA players judge them.
Well, or have them team up. So, you have Donovan, you have Jaylen Brown, you have Cade Cunningham, and you have Jalen Brunson.
And they each get.
They each get to pick their professional.
Oh, okay,
dunk.
that would
So
be
it's like-
interesting.
Did you guys ever watch Game of Thrones?
Yes.
I have not.
It's trial by combat. It's dunk by combat,
Sir,
basically. You pick your guy, you're
Oh, that's
Yeah.
kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But, you know,
I want Sir Gregor.
and the 3-point contest things, because when it started, threes weren't a huge part of the game.
No, they weren't.
And so seeing Larry Bird,
What did Mark
seeing
Price
Reggie
take, like,
Miller,
4 a game?
Mark Price, it was exciting to see that because you never saw them shoot a million.
Right.
Now,
They
all
all
they
can
do
hit
is
them.
shoot threes,
Yeah.
so it's boring.
Yeah,
No,
it is.
here's what you should do. Here's how you change it up. You should have the big man 3-point shooting contest.
But there's so many good 3-point.
But now, even
What about half-court shots? Or shoot shots from the opposing free throw line, the opposite free throw line.
Here's what I would do. Here's what I would do.
Yeah.
Is I would straight up. I would go back to what they did with Steph Curry. I would have one NBA. I would have one
Oh, the
NBA,
WNBA and the NBA.
and
Yeah.
you would have to go head to head against somebody from the WNBA.
NBA guys wouldn't do it.
No,
Telling
because
Because they're gutless.
well, women.
What?
NBA guys wouldn't do it, G.
Why?
Well,
Because I'm telling you,
If they
and
lose, it's embarrassing.
If they lose, it's embarrassing, and that's why I give Steph so much credit. Because he was like,
Steph's a
let's
man of
do
the
it, let's
people.
bring it
He's
on.
a good
and
man.
I've talked about this on the show before, but I had some anatomical expert tell me that the female body is way more built to shoot a basketball than the male body.
Man, if you
Wider shoulders, more room for air, bigger muscles. Women are better equipped to shoot a three-pointer. If they get to shoot with their ball, and you know they would,
yes,
that's a huge advantage.
They're getting their line. They're going to get their ball.
Yeah.
It's going to be on one side of the court while you going on the other side of the court. I'm going to split screen, and Caitlin Clark is going to be first up against whoever you got. Yeah. And guess what?
The guys are too.
Everybody would watch it.
Yeah, but the guys are too.
Yeah, I agree with all that. The guys would be terrified
By the way,
of losing.
can I get 60 seconds here, Mike, to rant
it's all you.
about something that nobody else will care about, even though it's basketball?
Is it All-Star game related?
No, it's basketball related, but not All-Star
Can I
game.
have one more All-Star game thought? Then
Go
we'll
ahead.
let you rant, because then we'll close and we'll move on to the Browns and then the Guardians.
Yeah.
2 things, G. On the Saturday events, I think if you polled 100 people, 100 random people, and said, what's the one event you would want to see on an All-Star Day Saturday, not the game, but the event, it'd be a Steph Curry versus Sabrina Ionescu or a Caitlin Clark versus Damian Lillard, some kind of three-point. I think that would be the number one draw, and I think the NBA guys wouldn't do it. And second of all, I heard someone, I think it was Zach Lowe who said this, what the NBA should do is force rookies and sophomores to have to participate in a dunk contest. Like after your second year, you have a choice, but they can pick the best athletes in the rookie and sophomore class, and you are forced to participate in the dunk contest.
Forced.
As part of like the.
You will get out there.
But it's a chance to put those guys,
Man.
the biggest stars as rookies and sophomores,
Yeah.
on the national. Like VJ Edgecombe, for example, crazy athlete in Philadelphia, having a great rookie season. I don't know if he's a national commodity yet. He goes out there
He's
and does
not.
some of the things that he could do in a dunk contest,
Yeah.
which he was invited to and declined. His popularity rises.
Yeah, that's
so on,
all.
so on.
It's
Maybe
lame
a
that
big-
they decline now.
And my thing is,
Lane LeBron's never entered.
Yeah.
and
Ever.
my thing is, I would also, I think this would be more interesting because I keep going back to the Team USA practices where these guys go 1v1 with 3 dribble max, and if you make it, you stay on the court. I would love to see Kevin Durant versus like. Give me Durant versus LeBron, 1-on-1 3 dribbles. Give me Wemby, like just like different things to get the competitive nature up because it's just you and him on the court, like, and you get the king of the hill. But I do believe that McNuggets, like, the thing about people not being in these dunk contests is crazy to me because some of the greatest jumpers and leapers of all time. Like you go back and watch LeBron James, Zion Williamson, who's doing all these dunks in the game. You got all of these high-flying dudes, and then they're like, nah, I'm not going to be in a dunk contest. No, bro. The reason why you are here where you are today is because all the best people, Dr. J, Michael Jordan, Vince Carter, Dominique Wilkins, all of those big primetime names, they participated. So unless, like, that's why
Guys don't need it now, so they don't care.
But the respect factor, like that's why people say you guys always disrespecting our era compared to the old heads. The reason y'all give up people and y'all let people get to y'all is because you give them a reason to. All the old heads is like, nah, I saw Jordan and Dominique go head to head.
Right.
I saw them not miss no games for 86 games.
For all this talk, not that it's a definitive answer, it's the only scoreboard that we have, and that's ratings. And this is disappointing because I was anticipating a big jump in ratings just because it was back on free TV. It was on network TV. But the decline in popularity continues. The All-Star Game at its peak, which was 2020, had 7.3 million viewers.
That was its peak?
Peak.
Wow.
Yeah, surprising to me too. 4.7 million.
Wow.
That's not good.
What was it last year? Is it up from last year or no?
Down slightly from last year.